Rock 24 is a Half-Life 2 mod released in 2006. It was created by Henry Bailey and Richard Acherky? The reason I want to talk about it is that I feel it perfectly represents the early modding scene for Half-Life 2, and specific sub-genre of Half-Life 2 mods that I like to call the non-canonical Freeman adventures. This genre characterizes itself with these aspects. 1. You play as Gordon Freeman, even though it makes no sense for him to be there. 2. The story in these mods is either very simplistic or there is almost none. And 3. Usually they feature very well crafted levels because more often than not they are meant to serve as a resume piece for their creators. I will say that I'm not the biggest fan of this genre of Half-Life 2 mods. I much more prefer when they try to tell something original that could be part of the Half-Life universe. Entropy Zero games are a good example. But Rock 24 doesn't try to tell an incredible story that is meant to change your perspective of humanity or whatever. Rock 24 is more like a good 90s action movie. You are just here to kill Combine, see some explosions and have fun. It's very clear that the developers had a lot of fun making it. I guess I should point out that the version of this mod that I played is called Rock 24 Revisited. It's basically like a patch for a patch for a patch that altogether updates this mod in various ways. I also installed the Richard Remake mod, which gives the main companion a new model. Oh, and one more thing, I played it using the ModDB version, but Rock 24 and Revisited bundle is available on Half-Life 2's workshop. So if you're too afraid of downloading Source SDK Single Player 2013 and setting its beta branch, you can download Rock 24 on Steam Workshop. You coward. Okay, so Rock 24 takes place on a small prison island that the Combine used as, well, a prison, similar to Nova Prospect. We play as Gordon Freeman, who is tasked with a mission to rescue an important resistance figure, Richard G. Newell. Well, that's the plot. This mod is very short, capping around an hour, so I'm not going to really get into too much detail. I will mostly just point out a few things here and there. But before that, I feel like I need to point out that the mod has brand new dialogue, which means it has voice acting, which sounds...
Routing this godforsaken sea in an attempt to rescue renowned scientist and rebel supporter, Richard G. Newell.
like voice acting from a mod that came out in 2006.
Well done, Gordon. I'm beginning to see why you were one of the few survivors of Black Mesa.
There's also some new music. That is fine, but it does not sound like anything from Half-Life soundtrack. Okay, back on track. I primarily want to mention the level design, as this was the main purpose of this mod, to show off the creator's level designing abilities. Chapter 1 is the roughest visually, as the geometry feels a bit too abstract. Half-Life 2 is a very grounded game where things are meant to look like, well, real places that could exist. But Rock 24 does struggle with that. Areas don't feel surreal, but you do get that feeling that something doesn't feel right. Like this. I don't know, a watchtower in the middle of these small corridors with guns mounted on top of them? Maybe if this was like a full-on combined structure I would buy it, but this just looks weird. It doesn't also help that mod often uses cutscenes to showcase stuff. If you know anything about Half-Life, you know that adding cutscenes like this is a big no-no. As we go further into the mod, things do get a bit better, with levels looking more like plausible places. There are a few other visual issues, like these strange blue shadows under props, or many texture issues. Mainly when the UV maps aren't properly stretched, or just odd texture choices. In general, a lot of brushwork looks a lot like something out of the Cold Source era, especially these damn crates. I hate these. So I talked a lot about the visual aspect of levels, now the gameplay aspect. And just like the visuals, it starts out a bit rough. Chapter 1 has a lot of strange gameplay design that I'm not a fan of, primarily the very first puzzle, where we need to throw an object at an open circuit to overload it, which causes the cell door to get electrified, which kills the guard when he touches it, which opens the cell door, If this sounded weird, well, because it is. But as I mentioned before, as we go further on, the mod gets way more straightforward, and actually pretty fun. This whole campaign just gives me the vibes that the devs were just adding everything they thought was a fun idea. So if this mod sounded at least remotely cool to you, then you should go and play it. Like I said, it's just an hour long, so it's perfect bite-sized Half-Life 2 experience. I also have to say that I really hope that the guys making this mod were able to fulfill their dream of becoming professional level designers. And you can fulfill my dream by liking and subscribing, baby!